Hey, good day, folks. Welcome to another edition of Lumberjack Logic Live. I'm your host, Neil Johnson. So excited to be with you all, folks. I'm so excited. I really am. I mean, this is the biggest win of the year so far. I'm really fully convinced this is it because we had nationwide injunction, temporary restraining order, one right after the other, stopping everything we had voted for. And now, folks, that is coming to an end. Not only that, there was multiple wins at the Supreme Court today. This is one of the biggest days at the Supreme Court. This is absolutely insane. And actually, Lamil just said it, and I'm going to put it up there. Biggest week. It is just nonstop winning this week. I'm so excited about it. Whether it was taking out Iran's nuclear program, whether it's this, there's just so many wins this week. I can't get enough of this. What about the Supreme Court deciding that states had the ability to defund Planned Parenthood? I haven't even talked about that, but it's just nonstop winning. Yes, please smash that like. Do chat in with where you're from. I see Wisconsin on the stream, Missouri. I see Lady Ann's on, Damaged Dime is on. A bunch of folks, man. If you're new, subscribe. All right, it's free for you today. I'm telling you what, folks. Did I have a banner up there? Oh, and I had a comment. That's right. Oh yeah, and do go check out my sponsor, MyPillow, mypillow.com/lumberjack. Save up to 66% or call 1-800-568-2865. But the big deal we have going on right now over at MyPillow, folks, is the free shipping sale. That's right. And this is free shipping even on the large items, even on the mattresses, the mattress toppers, all of it on sale right now at mypillow.com. Still have the $100 free digital gifts going on as well. Right there, you get the $100 in free digital gifts when you order $100 or more. Free shipping on your entire order. The percale bed sheets. Oh my gosh, this just changed. Folks, this is brand new. $29.88, any size, any color. This is brand new. They just put this up today. It was $24.88, but it went up based on sizes, so you could spend $39.88. Now it's any color, any size. On the percales, $29.88, and they ship for free. The Rev 7 is up, and here's the mattresses. These are phenomenal mattresses, folks. They got an inner coil with memory foam. My son and daughter-in-law ordered one this past year. They absolutely love this mattress. And if you just want to freshen up your mattress, they've got the topper, and those are shipping free. So go check it out at MyPillow, mypillow.com/lumberjack, or call the 1-800 number on your screen, 800-568-2865, folks. 1-800-568-2865. All right. I got big news. God, I got big news. Oh, gosh. I just can't get enough of this news. Wait, I'm going to MSNBC's homepage. Folks, they're crying. They are literally in epic tears. Look at these headlines. I kid you not. Here it is. SCOTUS issues critical rulings in pivotal final day. Supreme Court rules against adult industry in case on porn in the First Amendment. This is a big one, okay? Porn is not a First Amendment right. It's disgusting. Sorry. If you got a problem with porn, pray, repent, and turn away. It's just sad. All right. But this, look at this. Supreme Court's Birthright citizen decision. This is so great. Exposes a huge flaw in Roberts' court. That's right. The Supreme Court's Birthright citizenship decision exposes a huge flaw in Roberts' court. To show you how it's not a huge flaw, let's listen to our great president, Donald J. Trump. And I will blow this up a little bit for you and hit play. Listen to this.
This morning, the Supreme Court has delivered a monumental victory for the Constitution, the separation of powers, and the rule of law in striking down the excessive use of nationwide injunctions to interfere with the normal functioning of the executive branch. The Supreme Court has stopped the presidency itself. That's what they've done. And really, it's been an amazing period of time this last hour. There are people elated all over the country. I've seen such happiness and spirit. Sometimes you don't see that, but this case is very important. I was elected on a historic mandate, but in recent months, we've seen a handful of radical left judges effectively try to overrule the rightful powers of the president to stop the American people from getting the policies that they voted for in record numbers.
This is so awesome. Trump's laying it out because we voted for this. We voted for this. Oh, man. And Amy Coney Barrett redeemed herself today in such a fantastic way. We'll get to that, but man, this is awesome.
It was a grave threat to democracy, frankly, and instead of merely ruling on the immediate cases before them, these judges have attempted to dictate the law for the entire nation. In practice, this meant that if any one of the nearly 700 federal judges disagreed with the policy of a duly elected president of the United States, he or she could block that policy from going into effect or at least delay it for many years, tie it up in the court system. This was a colossal abuse of power which never occurred in American history prior to recent decades. And we've been hit with more nationwide injunctions than were issued in the entire 20th century together. Think of it, more than the entire 20th century, me. I'm grateful to the Supreme Court for...
That is actually very true, folks. More of these have been filed against Trump than all other presidents combined. The lawfare is insane, okay? It is absolutely insane. Every word of what he just said there was true.
Stepping in and solving this very, very big and complex problem, and they've made it very simple. I want to thank Justice Barrett, who wrote the opinion brilliantly, as well as Chief Justice Roberts, and Justices Alito, Gorsuch, Kavanaugh, and Thomas. Great people. Thanks for this decision, and thanks to this decision, we can now promptly file to proceed with numerous policies that have been wrongly enjoined on a nationwide basis. And some of the cases we're talking about would be ending birthright citizenship, which now comes to the fore. That was meant for the babies of slaves. It wasn't meant for people trying to scam the system and come into the country on a vacation. This was, in fact, it was the same date, the exact same date, the end of the Civil War. It was meant for the babies of slaves, and it's so clean and so obvious. But this lets us go there. And
okay, I want you to think about this, folks. It was made for babies of slaves. Okay? Birthright citizenship. Who at the time opposed it? Who at the time opposed it? We're going back to the period of the Civil War. Who would have opposed birthright citizenship for slaves? See if my audience can get this one. Was it Republicans like Abraham Lincoln and Ulysses S. Grant? Exactly. So I want you to think about this. This is all Democrats doing this. Look at that. I hit his again. Okay. Now, okay. Today, Democrats are trying to abuse the birthright citizenship to get illegals into the country so they can have someone to clean their house. The Democrats have always been the party of slavery. They are not the party of life. They are not the party of freedom. This is this is a fascinating thing to look at. Today, they are trying to utilize birthright citizenship to get illegals into the country to pick their vegetables. They've said it multiple times, even to wipe their butts. Okay. And then, back then, they were trying to deny birthright citizenship to slaves because now they want them counted in for voting, anything to advance their agenda. It is a disgusting group of people. Say that with all sincerity. Okay. Please smash that like. Chat in with where you're from. Let's get this stream out. We'll keep listening to President Trump.
Finally win that case because hundreds of thousands of people are pouring into our country under birthright citizenship. And it wasn't meant for that reason. It was meant for the babies of slaves. So thanks to this decision, we can now properly file to proceed with these numerous policies and those that have been wrongly enjoined on a nationwide basis, including birthright citizenship, ending sanctuary city funding, suspending refugee resettlement, freezing unnecessary funding, stopping federal taxpayers from paying for transgender surgeries, and numerous other priorities of the American people. We have so many of them. I have a whole list. I'm not going to bore you, and I'm going to have Pam get up and say a few words, but there's really, she can talk as long as she wants because this is a very important decision. This is a decision that covers a tremendous amount of territory. But I want to just thank again the Supreme Court for this ruling. It's a giant. And they should be very proud, and our country should be very proud of the Supreme Court today.
They should. We should. Okay. Hold on. This is just kind of a funny clip, but we don't need that one. We're going to go to, but this is going to try and play, isn't it? God darn. Here, I'll just drop it out. Okay. My friend George tweeted this. He said, I really like what Amy Coney Barrett wrote today. Perhaps the reverence she had for liberalism is wearing off because she's now understanding how bad it is. It is rather interesting that she decided she would break free from the woke lesbians on the court. Okay. It is the things that they wrote, their dissent. So here, let me go to this, go to Sotomayor's dissent. You know, what's interesting about this is, none of them are talking about Jackson's dissent. It was written so poorly, but let's listen. Let's read here Sotomayor's dissent. And this is really, this is key, folks, because you are seeing the liberal media literally cry a river today. You are seeing Democrats will be out there weeping, wailing, gnashing the teeth. This is an epic day. Writing in dissent for the court's 3 liberal members, Justice Sonia Sotomayor said the majority had shamefully played along with the administration's gamesmanship in the case, which she described as an attempt to enforce a patently unconstitutional policy by not asking the justices to bless the policy, but instead to limit the power of federal judges around the country. She warned that under the ruling, no right is safe in the new legal regime the court creates. Today, the threat is birthright citizenship. Tomorrow, a different administration may try to seize firearms from law-abiding citizens. He just wrote this. Folks, did you catch this? She is trying to equate a constitutionally defended right, our Second Amendment of the Constitution, with birthright citizenship that was created for slaves. Okay? Fine. I got to share this too. Really funny. Also to haul out your elk. By the way, I did talk to George today. He is going elk hunting with me. So I will have a black man hauling out my elk. If I get it on the day he's there. I mean, it's just, we can drag liberals all day long with this kind of stuff. Okay. You know, this is interesting how they try to equate this. They're trying to tap into your fears of the Second Amendment, when in reality, that's not even a concern. Okay. Unless there's some liberal crazy Supreme Court, and they would have done it anyways. Tomorrow, a different administration might try to seize firearms from law-abiding citizens, like these liberal justices have done all the time, mind you, or prevent people of certain faiths from gathering to worship, Sotomayor wrote. This is such a stretch. Sotomayor is so bad. The majority holds that absent cumbersome class action litigation, courts cannot completely enjoin even such plainly unlawful policies unless doing so is necessary. Excuse me, I got a piece of carrot stuck in my throat. Unless it is necessary to afford the formal parties complete relief. The court's senior liberal member took the rare step of reading parts of her dissent from the bench on Friday. With the stroke of the pen, the president has made a solemn mockery of our Constitution. Rather than stand firm, the court gives way because such complicity should know no place in our system of law. I dissent, she wrote. Liberals will be cheering her pathetic ruling or her pathetic dissent. You know, this is Supreme Court ruling fundamentally shifted the balance of powers to the president, analysts said. So this is the real big one, okay? The big one is this. Well, here, I want to go to something else right here quick. Right here. This was written by, and this is in response to the nationwide injunction ruling. So basically, all these nationwide injunctions and TROs are off the table for all these federal judges. This is so big because this is how they were stalling the Trump agenda that you voted for. This is absolutely massive. Do you guys all kind of, I mean, just, I know my audience is pretty awake, pretty sharp, paying attention to this stuff, but you all get how big this is in terms of a seismic shift, I would say. I would say this is seismic, a seismic shift within the processes of the president fulfilling his duty to the Constitution. Okay. We will not dwell, again, this is written by Amy Coney Barrett. We will not dwell on Justice Jackson's argument, which is at odds with more than 2 centuries worth of precedent, not to mention the Constitution itself. We observe only this: Justice Jackson decries an imperial executive while embracing an imperial judiciary. And folks, that has been the problem all along. They keep talking about separation of powers, but that's not what's going on here. The courts have been acting as an imperial judiciary. And so Article 2 powers in the Constitution were given to President Trump, to any president. It says, the way it's written, it doesn't say to the president, it says to a president, meaning all presidents. So it wouldn't be misinterpreted as a president at the time. So this is absolutely this is a colossal. And the fact that now these lower courts can't issue all these nationwide injunctions against the president, holy cow, man, the left is in a meltdown mode today. It is absolutely wild. It's just absolutely wild. I just can't believe it. I'm so excited, folks. I'm so glad they did this. Here, I'm gonna move on. We just talked injunctions. Let's talk about this birthright citizenship ruling. In a game-changing 6-3 ruling, the Supreme Court just gave President Trump the green light to enforce his order restricting birthright citizenship. And we're going to watch what Wesley Hunt has to say about this.
We are a nation of immigrants, but there's a difference, stark difference, between giving citizenship to the children of slaves, the children of those subject to the Middle Passage, the children of sharecroppers, and the children of those who were once considered property, and giving citizenship to the children of people who crossed the border illegally, stay in taxpayer-funded luxury hotels, who receive free Xboxes, free cell phones, free flights around the country, and 3 square meals a day. There's a big difference. My great-great-grandfather was born on a plantation, Rosedown Plantation in Louisiana. He had to join the Union Color Guard to gain his freedom. By morphing the citizenship clause into something that it wasn't meant to be, it's demeaning to descendants of slaves. By morphing, like me. And not just me who served this country, but my father is a retired colonel. My sister went to West Point as a retired colonel. My brother went to West Point. We are talking about a direct descendant of a slave that earned the right to be in this country and passed that ilk down to his ancestry. People bled for it. People died for it. And it means something. Allowing birthright citizenship to stay in place dilutes the citizenship of not just Black Americans like me, but every single American citizen that had to earn it the right way. Let's say this in black and white. Either you're a US citizen or you are not. Now, the left has spent decades cheapening what it means to be an American citizen. They've quite literally been chipping away at the basic value of American citizenship. They pretend to be altruistic. We know the truth. Ozzy Osbourne's daughter said on The View that we have to let illegal immigrants in this country because who else will clean our toilets?
Yep.
We hear it all the time. Who will pick our crops? And even though that we know that American citizens are the majority of those people picking our crops, we know what you're insinuating. And all this must end now. The left throws love thy neighbor in our face and they say that we have to have open borders in order to be nice to people. Well, I ask them to tell the left, we have a bunch of neighbors right here in our country that are Americans. You see, your neighbors are the homeless veterans that you drive by to work.
Wow.
Our neighbors are the wayward teens running away from a bad home environment. Your neighbors are the families who just got evicted from their apartment. What do all those neighbors have in common? They're all Americans.
Citizens,
and let's use our American tax-paying dollars to put Americans first. Newsflash. This is why President Trump is our president, because it's past due that we put the American citizen first. And once we solve our issues here, I'm a Christian. By God, let's help everybody else. But at this point, we have enough problems to fix in our own country, and this must stop. Thank you for your time. We are a nation.
Oh, folks, was that beautiful or was that beautiful? I mean, you had to appreciate that. I mean, that was absolutely a thing of beauty by Wesley Hunt, talking about birthright and citizenship. We're going to talk a little bit more about these nationwide injunctions, folks. I do need to mention my other sponsor really quickly. That's Birch Gold. Okay, look, I mean, Trump's doing all he can, but you are responsible for your finances. One of the best ways to look at your savings is through diversification. Okay. And that is on you. And gold is up over 40% in the past 12 months. I remember I was promoting gold a while ago when it was up 30%. And I was excited about my investment in gold. And somebody said, well, you shouldn't buy now. It's too high. Could have made another 10%. I think you're going to see more due to the central banks that are continuing to bolster demand for gold by buying it in record quantities. Global instability and tension is very high right now. And Birch Gold makes this extremely easy. You can easily convert an existing IRA or 401k into a physical. Again, I want to stress that's physical gold and silver. Okay. Text Lumberjack to 989-898. Again, that's Lumberjack to 989-898 to get your free info kit on gold from Birch Gold. All right. Back to the news, folks. Check this out. This is going to be a fun one to go through. Remember Rod Martin, who I had on the show? I should have actually had him on for this one. I sure reached out to him. Thread, Supreme Court hands Trump massive win, nationwide injunctions gutted. Okay. I've told you repeatedly that the abuse of district courts' injunction powers far exceeds their constitutional authority. Now the Supreme Court agrees. The Supreme Court just ended the left's favorite weapon, but only against Trump, nationwide injunctions. Democrat judges constantly block Trump's policies from taking effect. They've issued more against him than all of the presidents combined. Justice Amy Coney Barrett wrote the 6-3 opinion. A universal injunction can be justified only as an exercise of equitable authority. Yet Congress has granted federal courts no such power. These Democrat activist judges just made it up. And I will tell you, this was a strategy of the left. They had game planned this out ahead of time. Huge for the Constitution. For most of 200 years, the courts respected their jurisdiction, ruling only on the parties in front of them. But against Trump, leftist judges started handing down national edicts from Seattle to San Francisco. This is huge, folks. I cannot stress enough how big of a decision this is, how big of a win this is. I really hope you guys get how big of a win this is. Smash that like if you get how big of a win this is. We were at a time, like you guys know, every time the news would come out, I got so tired of covering it, I quit covering them because I was so frustrated. Every time it was another TRO, it was another nationwide injunction against Donald Trump. And here, this has been eliminated. I mean, they are not elected. Okay. So the universal injunctions, folks, let one local judge block the entire executive branch. They let radicals judge shop. They turn every policy fight into lawfare. They annihilate the separation of powers, and they void our elections. Okay. They void your voice. Okay. So predictably, the left is melting down. Sotomayor whined that it was an invitation for the government to bypass the Constitution. Really? Is that what it is? I think the actual bypassers of the Constitution were all the judges releasing these edicts. But that's exactly what these injunctions did. They bypassed elections, presidents, and the people. And Sotomayor said so when it was Biden. They are not, okay, they are not judicious. They are not of judicial temperament, these lefties. A.G. Bondi and Solicitor General Sauer called it a legal revolution. This ends the barrage of nationwide injunctions against the president. This isn't just about Trump. This is about you being able to change policy at the ballot box. And more immediately, the practical efforts are huge. Over 300 lawsuits just got neutered. 300, folks. That's There's 300 lawsuits on the books right now. So I had actually read, this was before the election. The left was preparing for Trump's win. They could see that it was getting too big to rig. And so organizations like Mark Elias and those people started they like war planning, basically, out all these different cases that they would bring about and all that they would do to stop Trump. And then now we're seeing that this is huge. Over 300 lawsuits just got neutered. I mean, these deal with border enforcement, national security, agency shutdowns, transgender military rules, deregulation efforts, executive orders on abortion, energy, big tech, on and on it goes, folks. So this is huge. I'm still, I don't know. I'm so excited. It's the big one. It really is. It is the big one. The fact that MSNBC is freaking out about it so much. And let me pull you back to their homepage again, because this is all from the Supreme Court today. They also side with parents on keeping their kids out of LGBTQ instruction. Like, why would that ever have been? How can the government force you through the education system into LGBTQ instruction? This is, yeah, I'm just so excited. Again, keep calling Senator Thune, keep mailing him. The Senate parliamentarian cannot override everything Trump wants to get done in the big, beautiful bill. So keep fighting the good fight, folks. Go check out MyPillow, please. I mean, go support Mike. Go support Birch Gold. They're great companies. They're great folks. Just, you get a free info kit. It's free. Okay. Text Lumberjack to 989-898. No obligation, just useful information. Okay. And MyPillow.com, free shipping on mattresses. No, I'm not kidding. Free shipping on mattresses. Call 1-800-568-2865. Or go to mypillow.com/lumberjack. And then we just showed you that those percale sheets, huge deal on those. $29.98. And that is any color, any size. All right, folks. We'll see you on the next episode. Keep fighting the good fight. All right. Peace out.